Okay, shall we start? Drop me a Y if we are ready. Drop me a Y if you are ready. We can start. Yes. Okay. Yes. All right. Okay. So I'm here. I will just quickly open a new project. I'm opening a new project. Yes, discard this. Okay. I'm opening a new project. You might be having yesterday's project, right? So you may open the same one. You may open the same for the same project that we had made yesterday. Okay, yesterday as in day before yesterday. Now next, what I am going to do, I will quickly add that particular layer which I had made. I know that I had a raster layer. The raster layer was Vasco. Okay, so vegetation shape something I had made, and another dot shp. This one I had made. Besides that, I had these were the clothes. Oh no, sorry. Layer. I go to add layer. I'm adding vector layer. What are the vector layers? The vector layers will end with this dot shp, right? Dot shp. Likewise, I have two. So I open them and I add them. So unless and until I add, they won't be added, and then I close, right? So they have come there. What I was trying to add here, what kind of polygon files those were extracted from raster data. So I say add layer, raster layer. I want to add raster layer. What were my raster layers called? My raster layers were called Vasco. So it will end with PRJ. Vasco PRJ, right? Sorry, Vasco JPEG. This will be in JPEG file. Add, close, right? This is what I was trying to do. I can also make this arrangement. If I bring this down, it disappears, right? So if I bring this image down, then everything comes up, right? The next thing that are you ready with your file? Your file must be already there, right? Your file must be already there. Are you ready with your project? Open, drop me a Y. We'll try to calculate area for this. Drop me a Y if you are ready with your project file. If it is ready, come and drop me a Y. I'm saving this project. Have you opened your project? You must have saved it yesterday in the same folder. We have made a folder yesterday, and in that folder we have kept all the files that we were making. Am I audible? Nobody is dropping me a Y, so I'm wondering whether you are there or not. Am I audible? Am I audible very clear? Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, which file to open? SHP or
The
project
project
file?
file, no? The project file. It will end with this extension QGZ. It must be in your folder, right? Yeah. I will name this.
Yes, done. Yes, done.
Okay. All right. Yes. So if you have opened your file, you must have made some polygons, no? Some few polygons we have made. See, I have made this one, and this one. We can go for extensive polygon making as per our requirement. Then what comes next is how to calculate area for these polygons, right? What we will do is we will right click on one of these layers. For example, what I am doing is I am right clicking on this LULC Vasco. Okay, I am going to properties. Okay, I am going to properties. Here I go to source, right click on the shapefile. I go to properties, and under properties I go to source. Here what do I get to see? That it is the coordinate system is WGS84, which means it is not in projected system. Okay, projected system comes in different zones. For example, it's a universal transverse Mercator scale, where with respect to meters the reference scale is given to us. So what we have to do, we cannot use this WGS84. Instead, we have to use UTM zone 43. Now, if our file is not in the required projection, what do? We reproject it. How do we do it? Right? The question is, how do we do it? We go to this vector, go to vector, under vector, go to data management tools, right? Under vector, data management tools. And under data management tools, we have reproject layer tool. Click on this such that it opens. And now I have these two shape files. I want to reproject LULC Vasco. That spelling is wrong, but LULC Vasco, right? And what is my target coordinate system? It is definitely not this. I want to use an UTM. So what do? I can filter here UTM, right? UTM, and all the UTM zones will be populated here. Coordinate reference systems will be populated here. However, I want UTM zone 43, right? So it has come there. Now what do? I click on it. It's northern zone, because I'm in the northern hemisphere. Goa is in northern hemisphere. Our India is in northern hemisphere. So zone 43. This is what I am choosing. Then what do? I run. The moment I run, it will complete the process of transforming it to some other, that is universal transverse Mercator, and it will produce me a reprojected file. Okay, now this has, if I check its properties, if I go to its source here, now its projection system has been changed to UTM zone 43, right? Do we see that here? Now I say okay, fine, the way I wanted it to be, it has been done. Have you reprojected your file? Come here and drop me a by if you have done this. Yes. So what do we do? Uh, this is the file that I am trying to reproject. How do I know that it is not in the universal transverse Mercator? Because this is what it reads, WGS84. Okay, this is in terms of latitude, longitude. Latitude, longitude is in terms of degree, minutes, and seconds, or degree decimal. Now, using this particular coordinate system, I won't be able to calculate what is my area. If I want to calculate my area, what I have to do is I have to convert this particular polygon file into a universal transverse Mercator. And how do I do it? I go to this vector tool, right? Go to this vector tool, then go
Ma'am,
to,
ma'am,
yes,
hello,
tell
ma'am.
me, tell me, tell me,
Uh,
tell me.
where to right click on LULV file or
Yes,
vegetation file and set
any
what
file, no?
proper?
The one that you want to convert into UTM file. So right now I want to convert my this LULC file. You must have made
Wh-
some polygons, no?
Yeah,
Right?
for that file only, polygon file.
Yes. So right click on it, check its
Hmm.
properties. I
Okay.
have
Okay,
specifically made
properties.
you to do it in WGS84 so that we will be able to do this exercise. So
From
WGS84 it is, that means
properties, symbols are coming, ma'am.
Property symbology. Okay, check this. No, see, we have
Source.
information, source, symbology. So, source we go
Okay.
for. When we go for
Okay. Source.
source, we see assigned coordinate reference system, which is
Hmm.
WGS84, right? So, this
Hmm.
coordinate system is not going to work for us. Always remember that whenever you are trying to calculate area, length, anything, any of these geometries of any vector file that you have made, you must convert your data into a project, into a universal transverse marketer, that is UTM scale. Okay, then I will also show you how to choose your UTM zone. Okay, so what do? We go to vector. Don't right click over here or anything. Just go to vector, then go to the last tool, which is data management tools. Under data management tools, go to reproject layer, right? Go to reproject layer, and here what do? We have to convert this WGS to 84. So our target coordinate system should be UTM. So for that, what do? We go to this, select CRS. I don't want this, so I select, right? I select. And what is the one that I want? I want UTM. Okay, all of us right now are going to go for UTM 43. Okay, UTM zone 43. Okay, UTM zone 43. Right. So what will happen now? Now this particular UTM zone 43 will come here. Okay. Zone 43 north and zone 43 south. We have to not get confused between this. And we will choose what? WGS 84. Okay. Always remember that we are choosing WGS 84. WGS 84 UTM zone 43N. Right. I choose this. Once I choose this, I just have to run this particular tool so that my reprojection will be done. Good enough. Okay. Now run.
Ma'am. Mm,
Uh, Tell me.
in layer properties, what we have to select? That source file, assigned
Yes, the
reference
source file has
CRS.
to be selected. Yes, correct.
After that, what I
Vec-
have to select? Uh,
Uh,
project CRS.
I have to choose the file that I want to reproject. After that,
No,
I
not
have
this
to
file.
choose.
No, not this, ma'am. After right click on the properties, that
uh,
layer properties is coming na. So in source, what we have to select?
No, source, we are not selecting anything. We are just checking whether it is really in the WGS 84 or whether it is already in UTM. Right now, it is not in UTM, no. Here we
Okay.
check that it is not in UTM. That means we are verifying that the geometry calculations that we require won't be completed if it is in WGS 84. So we close it.
Acha, okay. We have to close it,
Okay,
right? And
so we
then we have
close
to
it.
go
And
to
now what do? We go to vector,
vector
last tool.
data
Yes, last
management.
data management tools. Under data management tools, reproject layer. Under reproject layer, input layer, we have to choose. Uh,
Acha.
okay, if you're not getting UTM option, no, you're not getting this. See, target CRS.
Yes, I am getting that, the target.
And Anthony, are you getting this target CRS? If you are getting
Input
this
layer, only
target
one
CRS,
is coming, ma'am.
only one is coming, as in, yes,
Whatever we
okay, so
have named
target,
input layer, no, target layer, what we have to select?
target, no, not target layer, target CRS.
CRS,
Here we have
CRS.
to select this, select CRS. Do we see a small globe there?
Hmm.
You see a small globe there, we click there, right? Once we click there, we have to find our UTM zone 43. Goa falls in zone 43. So what we have to do, we have to search for that. And there are many, no, so it is going to be a tough time. Oh, there's a small trick. What do? We go for UTM zone 43. Okay. Now we won't be able to see whether it is UTM zone 43 or not. So for that we have to just extend this. Bring your mouse cursor here, hold it and drag it such that the entire um, name becomes visible to you, and this is UTM zone 43N. That is what we are interested in. Okay, UTM zone 43N. However, not for WGS 72B. We have to look out for WGS 84 and their UTM zone 43. Remember this. Okay, somewhere just make a note that this is the one that you have to use. WGS 84 always. Okay, in the zone you have to find out where your area is falling, that I will tell you, and then run. Right, once I run the reprojected one. Okay, Paushali, we will wait here because we have spent enough time on this. No, it's only showing projected, nothing else. But did you type UTM zone 43? Did you
Ma'am,
type UTM
UTA,
zone?
it is not showing in the reference system, UTM zone.
Anybody wants to share their screen? Anybody wants to share their screen? Maybe then we will be able to sort it out exactly what is happening, because we have spent a good amount of time here, 17 minutes until now. We have to go to the other tools also, right?
Okay.
Anybody wants to share their screen? Paushali or Sayanthani? Anybody wants to share their screen? Okay. Are we receiving your screen? Okay. That's fine if you're using Gmeet on phone. Good, so that you can follow up all the steps. How many of you could do it? Yes, okay, share. How many of you could do it? Do the reprojection. Drop me a Y, because at this point of time, I'm really wondering whether everybody has a problem. Yes, okay, yes, okay, great. All right. So in that case, any few more. I will wait for five more Ys and then we will move ahead. Yeah, okay. So here you have to. Okay, dear. Drop down this projected. Do you see a small triangle there, which is like pointing towards projected? Drop it down. A small triangle, no, right in front of it. Drop down. Yes. Drop this one also down. The universe transverse Mercator. Yes. Drop this one down. Come down. Come down. And you see that before between the two columns, extend that area. No. See, here you should see WGS 84 somewhere. Right. Yes. Scroll down. Scroll down. Yes, scroll down. Yes, see that 72, there you go. Right? WGS 84 43 zone. N. The lower one, N. Because that is for the southern hemisphere and a different system altogether. WGS 84 slash UTM zone 43. The second one, the next one we have to choose. This is the upper one. Upper one, no? That is southern hemisphere. 41S means southern. Yes, this is correct. Now just press on run. Press on run. Press run. Yes, there you have done it. Okay, close it up. Close it now. Yes, okay. The one that has just formed, the green colored one, that is your correct one. The previous one, just remove it. Right click and remove the layer. Okay, I will share my screen now. I'll quickly finish with this one so that I have an interesting exercise for you. I see that many of you have done it. We will go ahead. So this is the reprojected layer. Now what do? I right click on this, whatever I have reprojected, right? I right click on this. I hope my screen is visible. And then what do? We go for opening attribute table. I open my attribute table, and this area column I have already made, right? We have already made, and it is null. So I have already made two polygons. One is for vegetation. You see, this one is for vegetation. This one is vegetation, and this one is built up, right? I will use this tool, Open Field Calculator. Can we see this? Open Field Calculator. I open this such that this panel will open. Okay, I want to uh, update an existing field, right? And which field it is, I will choose it here. Which field I want to update? Area I want to update, and its decimal, everything I have already selected. Okay, now, here I come to this particular panel and I locate geometry. I drop it down using the small triangular table and I go down to this dollar sign area. Okay, this is what I choose. If I click it once, I get its information. However, if I double click it, it comes here in the expression box, right? It comes in the expression box and I click OK. Once I click OK, my area gets populated, right? Drop me a Y if you have done this. If you could get area. Now this area is in meter square. How do we know this? We can come to this project. See, project. Go to properties. Yes, I will repeat. Yes, I will repeat. Pay attention to what I am doing right now. So I go to project. How do I know what is that number, isn't it? So I go to properties under layer and I see that the units of area measurements that I will get are in square meters. Okay, and distance will be measured in terms of meters. This is true for all UTM unless and until you change it coming over here. All right, now I will tell you how to yet again do it. Okay, this is a reprojected file that I have so far not uh, updated its area for. I open it, I see that the area field is empty. This time what I will do, I will create a new field. I go to open field calculator. Okay, this tool. I go to open field calculator and here under open field calculator, this time I am creating a new field. Just do what I am doing. Create a new field. Check it on. Okay, and here I name this particular column. I say area. Okay, I say area. And do I want it in whole number? Integer? No, I want it to be in decimal number, that is real number. Okay, I want it in decimal number. So this is what I choose. How many numbers? 10 numbers. What is the precision? Up to third decimal place. That is the precision that I want. Okay. If you feel that you are studying larger areas, you can increase these numbers. Okay. So I will keep it 20 right now. Okay, precision to 3 third decimal place also I want. If I want fifth decimal place, I increase this to 5 decimal places. Okay, here I come in this particular panel, feature geometry ID row. Here I go to geometry because I'm trying to calculate some geometry. Okay, let's say if I want to calculate what is the area, right? Area. So I click this dollar sign area. It comes here. I double click on it and it gets populated in the expression bar, right? Once it comes to expression bar, what do I do? Okay. So here what do I do? I select area and then I click OK. Once I click OK, field is could not add the new field to the provider. Provider. Why is that so? Okay, could you do this? Could you do this? Right click properties. Let me just check. It is zone 43. Could you do this? Come and drop me a Y if you could do it. Just click that OK will come on and then yes, area came. Yes. And how do we know what is the unit of that particular area? We know it because we went to project this on your menu bar and then we go to properties and under properties we see here units for area measurement. Now I will just show you what are the other things that are also possible. I yet again open my attribute table. Okay, and I go back to this open field calculator. I won't use this one. There seems to be some mistake that I have done for that layer. So open attribute table. Here I yet again go to my open field calculator. Here I go to yet again to geometry, right? Geometry, and under geometry this time I want to see what is the perimeter of my region. How do I do that? I go to this perimeter, right? This $1, that is what I am preferring, okay? I double click on it such that it comes and populates expression. And then I hit, oh, okay, create a new field. I have not given name yet, huh? I'm going a little hyper because I am behind. So decimal number. So this all I have chosen, and then I hit OK. Perimeter I have already chosen. So now it has given me perimeter. Again, this is in meter. How do we know? Through the project properties. Okay. So this is one. If you have not followed this, don't worry. After the class, I am still there. I am here to solve your doubts, and the recorded session as well will come to you. Good enough, Purba? Okay, anybody else who could do this calculating area? Likewise, you can also make a more complicated polygon. For example, I want to make multiple polygons all over here, built up land, vegetation, built up land and vegetation. I can definitely calculate area of each, correct? No? This is what we are intending to do. Right now I have made only two. You may do this extensive exercise, however, not now. Now next, okay. I will go to my layer. So far I was dealing with vector layers and a little of raster layer. Now I will go to add layer, right? I will go to add layer and I will go to raster layer. Raster layer, as I told you, is columns and rows or an array of numbers. Okay, it's an array of number. Each pixel that we see in an image is given a specific number. That is what it is, and that scale is extended to a color scale, maybe gray. So I click on add raster layer. Your panel might look something like this. Okay, I am expecting that you have already extracted that particular file. If you have extracted, what I am doing, I am browsing to my folder. Where is my folder? My folder is here. I have already brought and kept it here in my working directory. That is QGIS begin. That's the folder that I have made on my desktop. I come here and this is the file, right? This is the file. Now in this file, what do I have? I have my Landsat imagery. Okay, this is a 9 imagery that I have. You might have downloaded 8 Landsat 8. So here what do I need to choose? I need to choose band 1. See that it's LC08. LC08 means Landsat 9. L1T, L1TP means level 1 data. Means level 1 data. Data showing is to 2015 map. Okay, Mayura is there. Okay, but then we are not going there, Mayura. Okay.
Ma'am, right now you have given the link for extracting, na? That only I have downloaded. Like this file is there.
Like what it is?
One second, ma'am. S2A
Yes.
like folder, that zip file is there. That I have to open.
Okay.
Zi-
Okay. All right. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just reading this particular file. This is LC09 means Landsat 9. L1TP means it is level 1 product. Okay, raw data it is. That means it is not corrected for atmospheric corrections or any geometric corrections have not been done on this particular data. Then 144052, it's a 6-digit number. The 6-digit number indicates row and path. So our satellite is going all around from pole to pole to pole, correct? No? So it takes a path and a row. Every picture that it takes is placed in a row, and one particular revolution that it rotation that it does around the planet, that is our path. Okay, so 144 path 052. All right, and then the image was captured on 2023-01-11, that is 2023 January 11. And in the end, this date pertains to when the data was made available to be downloaded. Okay, and then This is to do with the cloud storage where all this data is stored. Now, this B1 is what we are interested in. Landsat has such 11 bands. That means 11 eyes. Each eye can see a specific part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So we are going for taking down or importing band 1, band 2, only go for the TIFF imageries, TIF files, band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4, band 5, band 6, band 7. I have held control key on my keyboard and I have selected all these 7, right? Select all these 7 and quickly come and drop me a Y so that at least everybody's imageries will come together. We are already half an hour into the class.
Ma'am, I don't have this folder and files.
Okay, okay. So when we don't have the folder, what we will do, we will quickly note down what we are doing, right? So that
Okay, ma'am.
once this video comes to you, you will be able to replicate it. All right. So what I have done, I have selected all these files, band 1 to band 7, and I am opening them. Okay, once I open it, that is not enough. I cannot close it. I have to first add, right? And then only I close, right? I close and I see. I'll just right click on this and I will say zoom to layer so that it takes me to the file wherever it is, right? I mean, it takes me to the satellite imagery wherever it is. This is the satellite imagery. Okay, this is setup. Could you view? Could you zoom to the layer? Anybody could zoom to the layer besides Darpan, Pooja? Anybody else? Anybody else? Besides Darpan, Poonam? Anybody else who has imported the data here in the file? That's me. I'm here. I hope you're doing the exercise. I'm really worried because I'm getting very few responses. I'm really worried. All right. So I have brought this satellite data. How initially I might not know. I might not be able to see it completely. So I right click on one of the imagery and I say zoom to layer. Now what is the problem? All of them are overlapping. So if I check off, I see all the imageries are at the same place. They are overlapping one another. Right? How do I make myself see all the imageries? By stacking it. How do I stack it? First I bring all those imageries here in my layers. Okay, import them. How do I import them? I go to layer, go to add layer. It's a raster data. I go to raster data, and then what do? I import all those files, select them, open them, and then add them and close this panel. Right, this is what I do. Now, next, how do I merge them such that at least 3 files I will be able to see together? I go to raster. Okay, I go to raster. Under raster, I go to miscellaneous tools. Right, I go to miscellaneous tools. Under miscellaneous tools, I go to build virtual raster. Okay, I open build virtual raster. Come and drop me a Y if you have done this. I'm wondering what the others are doing. My concern is what the others are doing. If only 2 are. Kunmon, Mohit, are you all there? Sir Devarushek, Gajanan sir, are you there? I hope you're there.
Yes, I am here, but I will practice
Yes, okay.
on from your video.
Sorry, sir.
I will practice it later on because not much
Oh,
handy with
oh,
all these things, and then ask if any problem comes.
okay, all right. Okay. Yes. All right. So we have opened build virtual raster. Here what we will do, we will see the first one, that is input layers. We have to add all the layers. How do we do it? I can select all, okay, and I don't want my Vasco, that is a vector file. No, I don't want that to come in this particular staking. So I select all this, whatever I want, and I click OK. Okay, I click OK. Now next, what do? I go to this resolution. I wanted to have the highest resolution whatever the satellite imageries already have. Okay, I choose this, and then I go for, I don't want to save a temporary file, I want it to be a file that gets permanently saved. So I click here, okay, and I say save to file. Once I say this, save to file, a folder opens and it will ask me where do you want to save your file. So I direct it to the folder that I have made. This is where it is present, and I will make a new folder within that folder, and I call it processed. Why process? Because this is not the data that has come along with the file. So I double click on this processed, and here I give it a name. What is the name? Composite. This is the name that I am giving it. Okay, composite for which bands? 1 to 7. Okay, and then I save. All right, I save this and I say run. So once I say run, band one is just one band has come. Give me a second. How come only one band has come? Okay, let me do this again. I will just remove this particular thing, or maybe just see its properties. Just one band. Okay. Right click, remove. Yes, remove. Okay, so raster, miscellaneous tools, and build virtual raster. So here I will select all the bands that I am interested in. I don't want this particular Vasco vector file. I say okay. Okay, so all 7 inputs selected, right? And I want highest resolution, right? Place each input file into a separate band. This is what I will click, or otherwise what will happen, only one band will come like I did last time. So place each input file into a separate band. This is what I am selecting. Next, what do? I go and save this particular file. I will give it the same name. Yes, I want to replace it. Okay, because last time I made a mistake, and this time I am using the same name and I am running it. Once I run it, you will see the composite 17 comes, and you have 3 different colors: RGB, red, green, and blue. I close this, okay, and now what do I see? Now I see that my bands have been staked together. I will just collapse all this, or otherwise it will simply show me all the color stretches. Okay. So now what is happening? I have made a stake out of it. What do? Have you, as anybody made a stake? Drop me a Y if anybody made a stake like this, a colorful map. Okay. All right. Yes. One. Yes. Okay. Now I will right click on this composite layer and I will go to properties. Okay. Now at this point of time, I would like to take you to a website. The website, if I want to search for it, what do? I say mm, Landset band composite. I say Landset band composite. Landset 8, I will say. Landset 8 band composite. This is what I say. Okay, and then it will take me to this website. Hopefully this is the one. Oh, not this. I will use this one, USRI. Yes, okay, this is the one. Okay. Uh, Yes, this is the one. I will just drop this particular link in our chat box. Where do I place it? Okay, this is the link. Okay, for now just look at this screen. What it says that Lancet has how many, Lancet 8 has how many bands? 11 bands, band 11, 11 bands, and all of them have different resolution. The size of the pixel is different. For band 1 it is 30, until band 7 it is 30. Band 8 is a panchromatic band with 15-meter resolution. Then band 9 is also 30, and this thermal infrared sensor band 11 is 100, so is band 10 as well as 11 is 100 meter. So we have made a composite from band 1 to band 7 because they have same resolution and they come one after the other. That is the only reason. Okay, you may otherwise even include band 9 over there. All right, then the upper table no shows us how to make these bands to come in natural color. So it says 432. So we come back here. We remember that our red band has to be band 4, green band has to be band 3, and blue band has to be band 2. Okay, make these changes. Red band will be band 4, green will be band 3, blue band will be band 2. Now we are trying to make a natural color composite, and the hint comes from here. See, our band 2 is blue, so we have to give it a blue band even in our composite, as well as green band will be given green color, and the red band will also be given red color. Otherwise they were in normal gray scale, right? That is what was happening. So now here what do? I do this arrangement 432 and I apply it, and I see that my image has turned into a natural color composite. So we have forest here, scanty forest here, and then we have some barren land, or maybe some vegetation here. See, whatever vegetation is there, this is agricultural land. Checkered pattern is what we see. This is vegetation. The river also appears blue to us here. Water bodies will appear slightly greenish because of the phytoplankton in it. And then these are the reservoirs. See, and then we have these forest. Okay, this forest has this typical outline which is straight lines, is because there is an agricultural land nearby. Okay, this part of the forest is not encroached. However, the one which was extending away, the present day fields, is what has already been converted into maybe some agricultural land. That is why you see those straight lines there. One more thing to notice here is also these patches. So any of you is from earth science, then you can tell me why this must be such. Like right in the middle of this mountain, what do we see? We see small patches, right? So one can tell us why this is such. All right. Then next, we see the clouds have also turned white. So this is a natural color. Likewise, we have multiple options in here in this particular table. If we want to see urban area, then we have to use a false color composite, which is 764. So we have to arrange our band such that red color is given to band 7, green is given to band 6, and blue is given to band 4. Or is it the other way around? Yes. So what is the stake? 764. We come back to our QGIS, right click on this composite, go to properties. Under properties, we go for band, that is red band will be 7 and 764. Then green band will be 6 and blue band will be 4. If you remember earlier, our band 4 is red, but we are giving it blue color. We are giving a false color to all of them such that the urban area becomes more prominent. Apply and OK. Okay. So now we see that the red coloration is wherever our urban land is present. See, this is where settlements are present or built up area is present. Now they are standing very distinct. So is even our vegetation, which is also standing distinct. Have you done this? Has anybody done this? Anybody who could fulfill this? Could see the populated regions. Okay. Here also we see some scanty population. No, it seems to be some remote areas or maybe rural areas. This seems to be major towns, larger population area. We also see that along the river bank there are some people who are living. Right. This is what we see. All right. Let's try other one. Let's try this time agricultural land. 652. That's what it says. 652, remember it? 652. So I change this to 6, green band to 5, and this blue band to 2. Okay, and then I apply. Okay, so agriculture this time will stand out. What do we have? We have agricultural area which is yellow in color is standing out very distinctly. Okay, even the population is standing out. However, if you want to study a typical land use land cover, then this particular way is much better whenever you are taking samples for land use land cover mapping. Okay, so we see different road networks which are merging in the center portion of this particular um, town, which means it's a bigger town perhaps. Same is the case over here. Multiple um, roads are heading into the center of the town. Okay. Now, you may try all these others as well. Land, water, how to distinct land from water, 564. Natural with atmospheric removal, then 753. Minimal atmospheric disturbances you get, and all this atmospheric penetration, then healthy vegetation. If you want to see healthy vegetation, these are different. Okay. How many of you have understood this particular exercise? Come and drop me a Y if you have understood this one. Okay, okay, all right. Okay. Could you also do it simultaneously? Could you also do it? So making a composite first and then changing the stick. Okay, in different order. Where do we get it? Now this is not the only table. Okay, there are multiple other figures or these stakes or these composites that you can find on internet. There is just no end to it. Okay, these are the only few ones that we are looking at. There are multiple ones. If somebody is from earth science, they want to see different types of lithologies, you have a combination for it. Okay, accordingly you may just explore on Google and you will find many more. All right, the next exercise that we are doing. Okay. The next exercise that we are doing is we are applying some few corrections to this data. So I come back here and I say Landsat 8 atmospheric correction. Atmospheric correction. 10 minutes. Okay. So level 1 data, as I said, is raw data. It has not been corrected for atmospheric disturbances nor for geometric correction. So here we will try to attempt and we will attempt how to get it slightly corrected. Correction guide. Surface reflectance. And all that will tell me. Equations. It will type top of atmosphere, reflectance. Is it 8? Okay. So um, this is the equation that we will use to find out what is the top of atmosphere reflectance. At the top of the atmosphere, what must be the reflectance that would have otherwise been received if there was absolutely no disturbance coming from the atmosphere. Okay, so what it is top of atmosphere planetary reflectance without correction for solar angle. That means solar angle is not being corrected in this particular equation. For that we will have to use another equation. Okay, and that is right here underneath of corrected for the sun angle. Okay, so this is the equation that we will use. If we do this particular equation, then we will be able to do any other type of correction to apply for this Landsat data. Landsat 8 and Landsat 9 can be corrected using the same equation. Now same equations, no matter how many numbers of those are. So what is the equation? It says M, which is band specific multiplicative rescaling factor, and it will be seen as reflectance underscore mult underscore the band number, whether it is 1 or 2 or 3. Okay, QCal, that itself is our band. Then AR, band specific additive rescaling, which will be written as reflectance add band. Right now, if you have not understood anything, don't worry, just open an Excel sheet and go to the data that you have downloaded. Where you have downloaded it, I have downloaded it in our desktop, and in desktop this is the file that I am referring to. Here I will see a metadata file that has an extension of MTL, is a TXT file. Locate this particular file. Landsat 9 level 1 product, and this is the metadata file MTL. I double click on it, it opens as a text file. Now this carries all the information pertaining to that specific satellite imagery that you have downloaded. Okay, this particular product has all the information, whatever information is listed in over here. What I have to locate, I will quickly write down here: band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4, band 5, band 6, band 7. Okay, after that I will yet again go back here. I need these two values, reflectance mult band. I will copy this and I will paste it in A2 cell, control V. Okay, just extend it. Then next I will yet again come back here, and this is the other value that I require. I will copy this and I will also bring and drop it in A3. Okay, this is how your table should look. Now I go back to this text file and I go for finding. Finding what this time? I will search for this reflectance underscore mult. This is what I will search for. What do I say? Reflectance. I just do reflect and then find next. This is not the one. Find next. No, no, this is not the one. No, this is not the one. Reflector maximum band one. No, this is not the one that I want. No, 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 not this, not this, not this. Reflectance mult. That is what I am looking for. Okay. Reflectance mult is what I am looking for. So here it is. Reflectance mult band 1 for band 2, band 3, all these values are listed. I will copy down for now band 1. Okay, the value for band 1 reflectance mult band 1, and I copy and paste it over here. Okay, right now it is in text or scientific something, so I will change it to number. Okay, and I will see that it is 00. No, I will just extend this decimal. Okay, I extend this decimal. I see a small 2 over there. Then I will go for reflectance add band. I yet again come here, reflectance, and that thing is right here below this. So what do? I copy this value. See that you copy even the minus. So Control C, I come here and then I paste it here. Alright. Do this and keep it ready. Only for band 1 you do right now. Okay. This is where we have got it from this MTL data, that is metadata, all the information pertaining to this particular files. Okay. Now this time I come back here. I know that I have made a band composite out of uncorrected data, right? So this time what I will do, I would want to correct this band 1 data. This is band 7, I will see band 1 data. Let's correct this data for atmospheric disturbances. How do I go about doing it? I come here in my processing toolbar. If you don't see your processing toolbar, go to processing, and under processing check this toolbox. If I check now, it is disappeared. Now this time yet again I will click on toolbar and it will be populated over here, right? Under this processing toolbar, I have to look for raster analysis. I am analyzing my satellite imagery. I drop it down and scroll down all the way until I find raster calculator, and I double click on this particular tool, raster calculator. Open this tool, raster calculator. You want any information pertaining to this particular raster calculator, you will be able to find it in this. Okay. Right now, I'm not intending to look for any information there, and I see only composite, composite, composite like that. No, so I go slightly away such that I see this band. Okay, I see whether it is band 1, band 2, band 3. Okay, these are the bands. Now I am interested in band 1, and before that I have to prepare my equation. What does the equation say? It says that I will be able to correct my band, and bands have to be corrected one by one. Top of atmosphere planetary reflectance will be equal to band specific multiplicative rescaling factor for that particular band multiplied by my band plus this particular another parameter, that is band specific additive rescaling factor, right? Simple equation. Let's put it here. Let's put it here in this raster calculator. So what do we need first? We need this value, right? I copy this, bring it here, okay, paste it here, all right, go back and then use this multiplication sign, okay. Multiply it with what? Multiply it with my band. Which band it is? Band 1. I am doing it for band 1. Let me copy this also now that I have come here. Now this both I am putting them in, no, let me not put it in the bracket. I will just go here. Okay, I will go here, and then here what do? I say plus, I use this sign plus, and then in bracket I am entering the other value. Which is that other value? Reflectance add band, or add, see, additive band factor. Okay, this is what I am adding here, and I close the bracket. Now it says my expression is valid. So have I used the same equation which is written here? Yes. Multiplicative reflectance multiplicative factor for that particular band multiplied by band plus this particular value, that is band specific additive rescaling. Alright. Then what do? I come here. This might, you might find it a little tedious, but then it is really not tedious. Okay. And then what do? I don't want this NDVI or anything. Fine, let it be there. All right. And what do? I say run. Okay, no preference selected, CRS provided. Okay, let me select CRS. So output CRS, let me select it to be UTM zone 43. Okay, you can also extend this panel such that you see this globe, and from here you select which one you want, either predefined or custom. If you want it to be a custom one, then you can go for finding it. Recommended projected fine. You just go for predefined one for now. Okay, I have chosen this. All right, UTM zone 43, and I say run. No preference layer selected. CRS provided. Execution failed. Give me a second. UTM zone 43 is the one that I want. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Okay, output file. Let me select my output file. I will call it what? TOA reflectance underscore uh, TOA underscore REF, that is reflectance underscore for which band? Band 1. I'm choosing it for band 1. And now I save it and I run it. Oh, what's wrong? What is doing this? 43 output extent from layer. Okay, I'm selecting this extent for uh, the entire image I am using. Okay, cell size 0 empty to set it automatically. So it will be set automatically. Run. My God, what is wrong? No reference layer. Select an extent box provided. I have. Reference layers used for automated extend. My God, what is happening? Reference layer, I'm choosing band 1 itself. Okay. Yeah, now it's running. So now band 1 has been corrected. Okay, band 1 is corrected. Better to do it for band 2. Better to do it for band 2. Anybody tried for any other band? If you have tried for any other band, let me try for band 2 this time. See for band 2, and then yet again the same value it is. Alright. Okay, so I come here, just close these attributable tables, close them down. What do? I go to this raster calculator tool. Where it is located? It is located in processing tool, under processing tools, raster analysis, under raster analysis, raster calculator. So for raster calculator, I will go for this band number 2. And before that, what I have to do? I have to multiply it with the reflectance mult band, this particular factor. Control C, bring it here, and Control V, backspace, such that it goes up, and then plus bracket, plus, then bracket close, and within this bracket I will add my reflectance additive factor for the band 2. Copy and then paste, right? So my expression is valid now. Uh, Predefined expressions, I don't really want to use any. How to write the expression? What I'm doing is I'm simply bringing and copying them down. what am I doing? This is the table that I have made. I know that my equation is reflectance mult bend factor multiplied by my raster, that is whichever bend I am trying to correct, plus reflectance additive band value, which is in negative. So what do? I just copy this and I bring it to my expression, paste it here, then multiply it with the band. For example, here I am trying to correct my band 2. So band 2 is there. I have made my band 2 come here. Just double click on it, it comes there, right? Then plus, I'm putting this in bracket because there's a minus. I can directly also go for minus 0.1. That also can be done, okay? But just to keep it a little simple, what we are doing, plus, and then in bracket we are adding this minus value, that is over here, reflectance additive band factor. All right, once we do this, we go down, reference layer used for automated extend cell size and CRS. Let me choose band 2 itself, okay? And then I say okay. All right, so that band is selected, so everything will be selected based on, should be selected based on this as well as it is. But what is happening? Say run. Okay, when we run it and it has completed. However, that output has come as B1, but I know that it is B2, isn't it? I know that it is B2. So I right click on it and I rename it. Where is rename? Rename layer. What do I rename it? I know that it is my TOA underscore reflectance. That is what I am correcting. Top of atmosphere reflectance. For which band? Band 2. That is what I am doing, and I have renamed it. Right click and rename layer. Because earlier I didn't go for that save file. Okay. Is your doubt clarified, Darpan? Yes. Okay. Could you correct your band? All right. Anybody else who could correct their band? Likewise, we have to do all the bands, and this is what you need to do after this class. What you will be doing, you will have to correct all the 7 bands at least. What I will do is I will upload another file. Make sure that by mistake also you are not deleting it, because if you delete it, then what is happening, others are not able to download that particular data, and I will have to repeatedly upload it. Okay, so once I upload it, you download that particular file and keep it with you, unzip it, bring it to the folder where you are working, and then start correcting the bends, but make that particular folder. So what I have done, this is my raw data, no, as I have downloaded, and I have made a processed folder. So within this process folder, I am storing all my corrected bends and everything. So that is what we will be doing. All right, now the last exercise that we are doing, see, you know how to correct the bends, correct all the 7 bends. The expression is with you. The link to this particular uh, website as well, I am bringing and dropping them here. Okay, bringing them and dropping them here. This is one, and this is for the band combination. Because once we close this Gmeet, we will lose all the messages also. That is what is going to happen. All right. So these are the 2 links that you require. Correct all the bands and create a composite after correcting the data. Have you understood the task? If you could complete this task, no, that I'm asking you to do, that means you are able to correct the satellite imageries, no matter which equation you get. For example, if I show you here, no, we have one equation to correct the data. We have another equation also to correct the data. This is for solar elevation angle. Okay, with change in solar elevation, the reflectance also changes, correct? No, so for those changes also we can correct our data following this particular equation. If we can perform this particular raster calculation, definitely we will be able to do this also. What these values are, don't look at this mm, weird lines and all over there and be intimidated by them. They are all simple, just read these things, okay? And this is the uh, bar graph. There's a flow chart which is also given over here. All that information that you require will be in metadata file, okay? The other imagery that I gave you is a sentinel data. However, we don't have time to discuss sentinel data, but you will definitely find the metadata pertaining to that particular file within this folder which you will be downloading, okay? The last exercise that we will do before it turns 8:30 is bringing some uh, bringing some points. Often what happens, if we are all researching on some environment, we are collecting some data. We collect data, we go to field, and we might be having a handset or maybe a GPS unit using which we collect location information, correct? No, from where we have collected our data. So we often have something like sample name, right? We have sample name, okay, and we have latitude and longitude, isn't it? Do we have something like this after every survey? Do you deal with something similar? Sample data. I'm a geologist. What do? I go to field. I collect a rock. And what do I do with that location? I take a latitude, longitude, location of that particular region from where I have collected the data. Or at the most, I can take a geotagged imagery. Now I name them. Let's say one rock I have collected from Vasco. Okay, Vasco, and it is the first rock that I have collected. So Vasco 1. Yet another Vasco 2. Okay, Vasco 2. All right, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now I will just tell you what to do. Let's say my latitude is 13.5. Okay, this might not fall in Vasco, that also I'm telling you. Let's say it is 13.5, and my longitude is, let's say, 73 for Goa, I think, or 75. Let me just do 75.5. Okay, and then Vasco 2. Let me not give it that misleading name. I am giving it DK1, Diksha Karapurkar 1, Diksha Karapurkar 2. This is the name that I am giving it. Okay, just so that I might not end up in Vasco. Okay, so 13.6 and 75.6. These are the two locations that I have collected my samples from. Right? Make an Excel sheet like this. Add any values. You might be staying somewhere in Goa and you will fall in this latitude. Otherwise, wherever you are falling, you may bring those latitudes. Another way, if you want to see, no, you must have downloaded this HCMGIS. It must have come in your menu bar. Drop it down, go to base map and say what you will say, Google satellite. Say this, Google satellite. Go to HCMGIS and base map. Under base map, go to Google satellite. Okay, go to Google satellite. Zoom out so that now you know which area you are falling into, and you get the coordinates over here, right? You get the coordinates over here. I fall somewhere here. This is my state, and I fall in 15 degrees and 74. All right, so I will make some changes. I will make this 15, not 13, it is 15. I'll just make it 15. All right, do something like this. You can go here and simply pick one. Remember, what is it? Let's say you are from Chennai. Let's say you are from Chennai. Okay, let's say you are from Chennai. So what do? Just hold your cursor somewhere, note down these values, mark it somewhere, and then write them down in this Excel sheet. Quickly do this. Once I do this, I try to save this. I am saving it as a CSV file or a comma delimited file, comma CSV file, comma delimited dot CSV file. I save it as, I again go back to my folder. Okay. Oh, most of you have left. Okay, I come here. I say sample locations. Okay, sample locations, and I save it here. Right? I save it. Okay, just save it. Yes, save it. Okay, close it down. Don't save. No, it must be already saved. Okay. Now what do? I come here to my QGIS. Here what do? I want to import those locations, right? So what do? I go to layer and I say add layer. What kind of layer am I trying to add? I'm trying to add this delimited text layer. Okay, this is the layer that I am trying to add. File name, I will have to bring that file. Where my file is, it is here, sample locations.csv. I open that file. Okay, once I open that file, I have to tell the system what format it is. It is CSV file, right? Once I say CSV file, the file has come here. See that, right? This file has come here. Okay, so sample name, latitude, longitude, everything has come here, isn't it? Now next what do? I go to coordinates. My x, on my x axis, I have longitude. On my y axis, I have latitude. Right? I don't have any z or m field. It might be carrying location, or sorry, it might be carrying elevation. It might be carrying some other parameter or attribute pertaining to that particular um, sample or location that we have collected. I say add. Once I say add, I can close this down and I see that my samples have come. I can right click on it and zoom to layer. Once I zoom to layer, it will show me where my samples are falling. So these two samples, I hope you can see them. They are in this pink color now. What I will do, I will right click, go to properties and maybe change its symbology. So I want it to be slightly in, yes, I will repeat. Give me a second. So I will check this pink color. I want it to be pink in color. And then the size also I want it to be bigger such that you will be able to see it. Okay. And then I apply and I say okay. So these two, right? These two are the files. Okay. I'm repeating what I am doing. What I did, I went to layer. Did you understand how to make the CSV file? Darpan?
Ma'am, please
Yes,
repeat
okay.
how to make CST file.
Yes, my CSV file has these three things. Okay, I will first come here. Okay, let's say that we have CSV file. Just pay attention. What we do, we go to layer. Okay, and we need to add a layer. Correct? No, the layer is already there, but it is in a different format. It is not vector or not raster. It is in a CSV file. So I am trying to add a layer. That means I already have a layer. Create layer means I am creating one layer. So add layer. What kind of layer it is? It is a CSV file. That is delimited text layer, isn't it? It's a delimited text layer. So I go click on this. Once I click on this, I will be asked what is the file name and where it is located. So what do I use? I use these three dots. Click on it, browse. I browse to my folder where my sample location CSV is saved. And I click on it and I say open. Okay. Once I say open, right? Then I have to tell the system what is the file format. My file format is CSV, comma separated values. CSV. That is what we have saved our file as. Okay. The next thing that I need to do is I have to come to this geometry definition where I will give point coordinates. My x field is on x-axis, that runs along the equator. See, our latitude is not changing along the equator. What is changing along the equator? It is longitude which is changing along the equator. And along y, what is changing? Latitude is changing. So I am adding longitude and latitude to it. And I have already seen that my file has come here. You can scroll down and see. Both my locations are there. Sample name, latitude, longitude, right? Everything is there. Okay. Next, what do? I say add. Okay. Once I say add, my sample locations will come here in the layers. Okay. And I say close. All right. See, they have come there, right? Now they are very small. So what do? I go to properties. I can change its color. Let me give it green color, right? Green color, and I want the size also to be bigger. Let's make it 4. Okay, let's make it 4 and apply. Always apply. If you don't apply, then it won't change. So now it has changed. Okay, you see that both the locations have come there, right? Okay, now coming back to how to make a CSV file. What do? We open a new spreadsheet, Excel sheet, and here we write name. Okay, name, and then location. Location will come in terms of latitude and longitude. Okay, latitude and longitude. So now what do? I give my sample name. Let's say water sample. It is WS, water sample 1. Okay, and then I have water sample 2. Okay, and then what is the latitude I'm giving? Let's say I'm giving 15.2. Okay, and 15.2 and 75.3, and then again 15.1 and 75.1. Okay, this is what I am giving. Okay, I have to save this. I am saving it as, see here, I don't want to save it as Excel workbook. I want to save it as CSV file, comma delimited. Where is it? Here, comma delimited dot CSV file. Okay, I'm saving it as comma delimited dot CSV file, and this time I will name it sample locations 2. This is the second file, just a train. Okay, then save. I have saved it. Okay, this might not happen on your system. Huh? This happens only on my system. Okay, all right. Then I come here. All right, I come here, and what do? This time I go to layer, and I'm trying to add a layer. So I go to add a layer. At add layer, I will choose add delimited text layer. Under delimited text layer, I will choose my file. Where my file is, it is right over here. Sample location 2. I say open. After that, I check my point coordinates. Okay, this CSV file has to be selected because the file format needs to be told to the system that it is CSV file, comma separated file. Okay, comma separated values. Then point coordinates. X field, that field X axis runs along the equator. That is how you remember it. It is longitude which is changing along the equator, and along Y, that is along longitude, what is changing? Latitude is changing. The axis that is running from pole to pole is our latitude axis, whereas the axis that is running along the equator, that is our, or perpendicular to our longitudes, is our latitude, that is y axis it is. Okay, once it is selected, also ensure that your symbols, your file has been populated over here, and then say add. Once you say add, you will see that it has come there. You see that 2 more dots have come there. Right click on it. You want to change its symbology. Let's say I want to make it black. I say okay, and I want it to have size 5. Apply. Okay, so they have come. You can also change these symbols also, whatever you want. You may change. You want to give it this fancy one, give it whichever you want. There was a plus sign also. Okay, so we have located our samples. All right. Now remember, once you do this, the file is not permanently saved. We have not saved this file. So what we do, we right click, we say export, save feature as. Now we have to give it a name. So we go to this browse, this 3 dots, browse. We come to this QGIS begin. I say sample underscore location. Okay, this is what I call it, and I say save. Right, once I save it, let me change this CRS here itself. Right now it is WGS 84. Let me change it to this zone 43. I say okay. I am already changing it so that whatever geometric things that I need to do, I will be able to do on it. Okay. Next is, if you want to add any geometry name, any description, you may do it over here. I say okay. Now it is saved. Okay. Now it is saved. You can again change its name however you want. I am just saving this particular project. Just save it. Could you do this? Could you locate the samples? Anybody who could locate the
Ma'am, how to
samples?
save? Ma'am, how to save this points as image like JPEG or PNG file?
Oh, that is tomorrow's exercise. So today what we need to do, we need to correct all the 7 bands in the imagery. I am uploading another imagery and sending you a link to download it. So download that particular file and extract it, bring it to your working directory, wherever that folder you have made which you are working into, and correct that all those bands, that is all 7 bands, and create a composite. Remember this, create a composite and make such file where you are making some locations, and also make this file. Okay, reflectance mult band, reflectance add band. You will find which values you require from metadata from that particular text file which will be located in the